We have a special report on breaking news reaching our newsroom today. The Premier of the Virgin Islands, Honorable Andrew A. Foy, has been arrested. Here is Ron Grant with the story.
Hello viewers, a pleasant evening to each and every one of you. I'm Ron Grant reporting for 284 News with this very special breaking news report out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Andrew A. Foy, was reportedly detained in the United States earlier this morning for allegedly conspiring to import a controlled drug and money laundering. This is according to a press statement by the Governor of the Virgin Islands, His Excellency John Ranking, CMG, which was issued by the Office of the Governor today, Thursday, April 28, 2022. He said, and I quote, "I would like to provide an update to the people of the British Virgin Islands on recent law enforcement action taken by the United States Drug Enforcement Agency about which I have been informed today. It is my duty," he continued, "as Governor to inform you that this morning the Honorable Premier Andrew A. Foy was detained in Miami on charges related to conspiracy to import a controlled substance and money laundering," Governor Ranking stated. Now, in the statement, Governor Ranking, while no further information can be released about the ongoing incident, he can confirm that it is unrelated to the recently concluded Commission of Inquiry. He said, and I quote, "As this is a live U.S. investigation, I have no further information on the arrest, nor can I comment any further on it. However, what I can confirm is that the arrest was a U.S. operation led by the DEA and is not linked to the Commission of Inquiry. The remit of the Commission of Inquiry focused on governance and corruption and was not criminal investigation into the illegal drug trade." Meanwhile, Governor Ranking also informed the public that he will now be pressing forward to release the COI report to the public as soon as possible. He said, and I quote, "To avoid unnecessary speculation, I intend to move ahead urgently on publication of the inquiry report so the people of the BVI can see its content and its recommendations in the areas it addresses. I will have a call with the Minister Milling and the Acting Premier, Honorable Dr. Natalio D. Wheatley, tomorrow to discuss the further engagement between the United Kingdom and the BVI on this urgent issue." He said, "I realize this will be shocking news for the people in the territory, and I would call for calm at this time." Now, in the meanwhile, viewers, until further notice, Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley will remain as acting premier of these Virgin Islands. Now, the Miami Herald provided explicit details on the matter in a story published April 28, 2022 at 4:11 p.m. The story said, "Andrew Alturu Foy, the Premier of the British Virgin Islands, along with the territory's port director, were taken into custody by Drug Enforcement Administration agents at Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport. BVI government, the Premier of the British Virgin Islands and the Director of the Small Caribbean Territories Ports was arrested today, Thursday, at a Miami area airport by federal agents on charges of conspiring to import cocaine into the United States and money laundering, according to the U.S. authorities. Andrew A. Foy, BVI's Premier, and Ovaline Maynard, Manager, Director of the Ports Authority, were taken into custody by Drug Enforcement Administration agents at Miami Executive Airport. Now, the foreign officials, they continued, were arrested after they met with undercover DEA agents posing as cocaine traffickers to check out an alleged cocaine shipment of some $700,000 in cash on an airplane that they believe was destined for the British Virgin Islands. Authorities told Miami Herald. They continued, the DEA agents were posing as members of the Mexican cartel. Both government officials who were in Miami for the cruise convention went to the airport on Thursday morning to see the alleged load of cash after DEA agents told them that the money was a payoff for allowing the cartel's future cocaine loads to be transported through the British territory to the United States, authorities confirmed. Now, the British Overseas Territories, an archipelago we were referred to, has a population of some 30,000 and is adjacent to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Foy and Maynard, who were being held at the Federal Detention Center, are scheduled to have their first appearances in Miami Federal Court on Friday afternoon. A third person, Kadeem Maynard, the son of the BVI Ports Director, was also arrested today, Thursday, in connection with the undercover DEA case, but not in Miami, authorities said. All three defendants were charged with conspiring to import more than 5 kilos of cocaine into the United States and conspiring to commit money laundering. A DEA criminal complaint and affidavit were expected to be filed in Miami federal court on Thursday afternoon by the U.S. Attorney's Office. It was not immediately clear if any of the 3 defendants had retained attorneys. In response to the arrests of the Premier and the others, BVI Governor John Ranking issued a statement saying that the U.S. government informed United Kingdom officials of the drug trafficking case in Miami. He said, as this is a live investigation, as mentioned earlier, I have no further information on the arrest, nor can I comment any further on it, Ranking said, who was appointed, of course, BVI Governor in a few years. Miami Herald, of course, this report was presented by Jacqueline Charles and contributed to this story. Viewers, that is it for this very special report. I'm Ron Grant reporting for 284 News out of Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. We, of course, will have more details of this story as it becomes available. Nia, back to you.
In today's news, the minister attends Climate Change Summit. The RDA launches a new website. Schizophrenia medication is reviewed by the BVIHSA. The BVI Commonwealth Games Association speaks at 284. And the government discusses the Red Bay Dock plan. All these and more when 284 returns.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What do you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you,
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me.
Wow. What's your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I hustle. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
Welcome, viewers. I'm Nia Douglas, coming to you live from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. It's Thursday, April 28th, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to 284 News tonight. Starting off today's news, according to a government press release, the Minister for Natural Resources, Labor and Immigration, Honorable Vincent Wheatley, is in the Bahamas attending a high-level meeting on a carbon credit legislative and regulatory framework and climate change mitigation and adaptation. Honorable Wheatley will also be engaged in meetings on environmental, social, and corporate governance and climate change financing. The minister met and held fruitful discussions with the senior policy advisor on the introduction to the Bahamas Sovereign Wealth Fund Bill 2022. He also met with officials of the Climate Change Advisory Unit on the Bahamas Climate Change and Carbon Market Initiatives Bill 2022 and tackling the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change Article 6, as well as implementation challenges. He will attend the Bahamas House of Assembly on Wednesday to witness the debate on the merits of this bill. Discussions were also held with the non-governmental organization Beneath the Waves. Minister Wheatley said he is observing the best practices and operations in the Bahamas that can be adapted and built upon in the Virgin Islands. The Bahamas is similar in landscape to the Virgin Islands and is also a small island developing state that feels the effects of climate change firsthand. Although we are not the ones that are the biggest contributors to climate change, Honorable Wheatley said, I have visited several of their facilities and spoke with key persons that are directly involved in their fight to preserve their natural resources. I am confident that we are on the right track to mitigate and protect our islands from the growing effects of climate change. Honorable Wheatley added, now that I have met with key stakeholders and non-governmental organizations, I am reassured that with all that we have in common and our shared goals, that we can collaborate in the fight against climate change by pooling our resources so that each territory will mutually benefit in partnerships going forward. Minister Wheatley will continue to visit various facilities throughout the Bahamas with officials from the Office of the Prime Minister to observe procedures and mechanisms relating to environmental conservation and preservation. In other news, the Virgin Islands Recovery and Development Agency, RDA, has announced the launch of its newly redesigned website at bvirecovery.vg. The new site features a streamlined and modern design, improved functionality, ease of use, and a detailed information hub for all of the RDA's recovery content. Head of the RDA Communications, Colleen Penn, said, "The visually engaging and effective website with its branded look and feel appeals to our mixed and diverse audience and allows contractors, consultants, donors, and the public to easily access our information." Penn added, "The website will be used as an accountability tool to report on the work of the RDA and will include minutes of key board decisions, legislation and policies, and a detailed breakdown on projects in the overarching recovery and development plan." New to the website is the Value for Money VFM dashboard, which hosts the VFM assessments of all projects completed by the RDA. The VFM assessments determine whether the RDA has executed projects within expected budget and timelines, within benchmarks for cost and time, and to what extent projects have produced and achieved targeted results to required level of quality. The contractor and consultant self-registration portal for business and individuals is featured on the website. This will allow registrants to input their information directly on the website to register to access business opportunities within the RDA. The website also hosts the Grievance Redress System, GRS, a mechanism created by the RDA to allow the public to indulge complaints about the work of the agency, its externally hired consultants, and contractors. Up next, the Chief of Drugs and Pharmaceutical Services says a BVI HSA case study monitored and reviewed 153 prescriptions. This story and more when we return.
The beautiful Virgin Islands, or nature's little secret as some prefer, where the weather stays warm and the drinks stay cold, where men in wigs get their lawyer bills paid by governments and governments lose planes, where walls are built and prisoners escape. You vacation where we suffer. BVI love.
Welcome back, viewers. The Ministry of Health and Social Development will be hosting a workshop and medication utilization review, MUR, for antipsychotics for patients with schizophrenia in the Virgin Islands. Chief of Drugs and Pharmaceutical Services, Mrs. Gracia Wheatley-Smith, said a case study was done at the Health Services Authority, BVI HSA, from the 1st of February to March 6th, where 153 prescriptions were monitored to review how the medicines were prescribed. Mrs. Wheatley-Smith said the results from the study were evaluated against several internationally recognized standards, including the American Psychiatric Association Practice Guidelines on the Treatment of Schizophrenia and the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, NICE, Clinical Guidelines for Psychosis, Schizophrenia, and in adults. The Chief of Drugs explained that a drug utilization review, DUR, or an MUR, is defined as an authorized, structured, ongoing review of prescribing, dispensing, and use of medication. We want to make sure that the prescribing of medicine matches with international standards. The workshop will be hosted on the 5th of May at 7 p.m. via the Zoom platform and will be used to present the results of the medication utilization review. It will also highlight any deviation from international standards and present recommendations to bridge those gaps to ensure that patients are getting optimal care, the chief said. Registered pharmacists and the senior technical specialist at the OECS PPS Quality Assurance Program, Mr. Abraham Weeks, and psychiatrist at the BVI HSA, Dr. June Samuel, will be facilitating the workshop. Mr. Weeks will present on the study, while Dr. Samuel will speak on schizophrenia treatment since the study was conducted. Interested health professionals and members of the community can register to attend this workshop, which has been assigned 3 CMEs by contacting Mrs. Wheatley-Smith at 468-9850 or via email at grwwheatleysmith@gov.vg. Attendance to this workshop is free and is on a first registered basis. Persons are asked to register early to reserve a space as the platform has a housing capacity of 100 persons. The World Health Organization, WHO, defines schizophrenia as a condition that is characterized by significant impairments in the way that reality is perceived and changes in behavior related to persistent delusions, persistent hallucinations, the experience that one's feelings, impulses, actions, or thoughts are not generated by oneself, and disorganized thinking. People with schizophrenia often also experience persistent difficulties with their cognitive or thinking skills, such as memory, attention, and problem solving. The review was undertaken by the Organization of the Eastern Caribbean States, Pooled Procurement and Supply Chain Management, OECS PPS, the BVI Health Services Authority, and coordinated by the Office of the Chief of Drugs and Pharmaceutical Services, the Ministry of Health and Social Development. In other news, the BVI Olympic Committee, BVIOC, in its capacity as the Commonwealth Games Association, will host the upcoming Birmingham 2022 Queen's Baton Relay in the Virgin Islands on Tuesday, May 3rd and Wednesday, May 4th. The Queen's Baton Relay started its tour of 72 Commonwealth nations and territories in October 2021, when Her Majesty the Queen placed her message to the Commonwealth into the baton and passed it to four-time Paralympic gold medalist and Team England athlete Kadina Cox, who had the honor of being the first of thousands of baton bearers to carry the baton. The BVICGA has hosted 4 Queen's Baton Relays since 2005, the last one being in 2017 ahead of the Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games in Australia, where Kyman McMaster made history by winning the territory's first Commonwealth Games medal with a gold in the 400-meter hurdles. Mr. Ephraim Penn, president of the BVICGA, recently sat down alongside Dr. Catherine Smith, the director of culture, and told our Ron Grant everything there is to know about this exciting event. Take a look.
Viewers, welcome back and thank you so much for sticking with us. As promised, I am joined by Director of Culture, Dr. Catherine Smith, alongside Mr. Ephraim Penn, President of the BVI Commonwealth Games Association, and we are discussing the 2022 Birmingham Queen's Baton Relay. Ms. Smith and Mr. Penn, welcome back to our studios and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It is always a pleasure. Before we get into the events of the 2022 Birmingham Queen's Baton, Mr. Penn, I'd like you to begin by giving us an introduction, a history of the Queen's Baton Relay.
Thank you very much, Ron. Well, the Queen Baton Relay is the precursor to the Commonwealth Game. It signals the beginning of the Commonwealth Game for that particular year. This one started in October of last year, where the Queen placed her message in the baton and it was sent off to the 72 Commonwealth countries and territories, the British Virgin Islands being one of those. The baton relay is significant in that it helps to showcase the uniqueness of the Commonwealth, and when it's in the territory, it acts as a very important mechanism to showcase the cultural, historical, and tourism aspect of that country. So we see this as a great honor when the baton is going to be arriving here on the 3rd and the 4th, where we can showcase the British Virgin Islands and all its beauty to the rest of the Commonwealth and to the world. So it signals a very important start, as you mentioned, to the Commonwealth Games, which will take place in Birmingham, England this year, July 24th to August 8th. And what is significant about this Commonwealth Game is that for the first time ever, the British Virgin Islands will be going into the Commonwealth Game with a Commonwealth champion in the name of Kyran McMaster, who won the 400-meter hurdles in 2018 in the Gold Coast, setting history for the British Virgin Islands. And we're looking forward to great things this coming up Commonwealth Games. In fact, we are hoping to take the biggest team ever to a Commonwealth Game. We have 5 sports: athletics, swimming, squash, 3-on-3 basketball, cycling, and I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So we are very excited for not only the baton coming through and signaling the beginning of the journey towards the Commonwealth Game, but also the Commonwealth Games itself.
Definitely, and I do think the general public will be excited to see our delegation travel to Birmingham to represent us in the Commonwealth Games 2020. I want to talk about the route. You mentioned that the baton will be in the Virgin Islands on the 3rd and 4th. Tell us about the route, who will be participating, and where we can expect to see the baton.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, we have Dr. Smith with us, and she is going to really highlight some of the cultural aspects of what we're trying to achieve. But we have a very exciting program for the Baton in the 2 days it's going to be here. We're going to open with the opening ceremony at the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, May 3rd. And so from there, we're going to kick the baton off, moving at a good pace, but not too fast. We're going to have the premier or acting premier do the first symbolic lap around the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground track. And that's going to be handed off to Honorable Kai Reimer, who will do the first leg from the A.O. Shirley grounds to the Sugar Works Museum. In keeping with the theme of the relay, we are going to then go to RTS Catholic School, where we're going to look for what we call a change maker, someone in the school or in the community there who has made a significant difference, and it must be a young person. So because it's all, as you know, 75% of the Commonwealth are between the age of 15 to 29.
Yes.
So they're trying their best to showcase the future in the youth. So we're going to have a person from RTS Catholic running to the Gerald Neal Botanic Gardens. And from there, it's going to be taken to the Sunday Morning Well. From the Sunday Morning Well to the Elmo Stout High School, we're going to have Mr. Thomas from Clarence Thomas Limited doing a brisk leg up to Elmo Stout High School. And then what we're going to do something very unique. When we leave the Elmo Stout High School, we're going to go across to the E. Walwyn Broley Softball Park, where Mr. Broley himself will be given the honor of receiving the baton with as many softball players and supporters around him. We are honoring Mr. Broley for his years of contribution to sports in the British Virgin Islands, in particular softball.
Dr. Catherine Smith also elaborated on the opening ceremony event.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. Dr. Smith, tell us about the opening ceremony.
Okay, so the opening ceremony, of course, first of all, it's been a pleasure working with this group and bringing culture and integrating culture and heritage throughout. Now, the opening ceremony, as mentioned by Mr. Penn, there's a theme, a little bit of a theme there that you would be seeing, which has to do with youth and with untold stories, right? So at that opening ceremony, and we hope everyone can come out, it's at 9, as mentioned, at the Old Shirley grounds. Expect to see poetry, music, dance, right? Now, I want to mention a special thing that has happened. The BVI, it was one of 5 countries, I think, chosen by Birmingham 2022. Chosen in terms of choosing a young artist to be involved, so that the Birmingham 2022 engaged a consultant in Birmingham, and interviews were carried out, calls were made, and Miss Annika Christopher of the BVI was selected as the young poet. So her presence will be there at the opening ceremony. Of course, we'll have our Virgin Islands Poet Laureate, the well and extremely accomplished Dr. Richard Georges. And remember, again, the theme is untold stories, so it's going to be pretty interesting. The dance selections, I hope everyone comes out. They tell a story also. One of the primary schools is involved. I won't mention, that will be a nice surprise. And then we have another group of young dancers, and these are cultural dances that come from our heritage. Also, we have a young Fungi music band, Razor Blades, and that also will tell a story. So I think we'll be represented well at the opening ceremony in terms of culture being integrated.
Viewers, if you're interested in watching the entire interview, you're welcome to check it out on the 284 Media Facebook page. Up next, the government meets with the public to discuss the plan for the Red Bay Dock in East End. Stay tuned.
The wait is over! CCT FAHIE is here! Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Thanks for sticking with us. Yesterday, Wednesday, April 27th, the government of the Virgin Islands held a community meeting to inform and engage public participation in discussions surrounding the Red Bay Dock project in East End. Honorable Marlon Penn, leader of the opposition and representative for the 8th District, where the project will be located, shared with the public the vision and importance of developing the dock and highlighted it as the source of economic development for his district.
And what I want to do. The question is, where will it be situated?
Thank you, Brother Davies. It's my understanding that the area will be able to accommodate a dock, but in terms of the technical specifications, I think that's something that you'll have to get on the same page with the ministry about. And I know that the permanent secretary who's here is willing to have a meeting specifically to discuss the issue, but it's my understanding that there will be accommodations for a dock as well that can give enough space for this fisherman's dock here, as well as your private dock. That is my understanding at this present moment. But I think, of course, in terms of the technical details, it will be important to sit down and to have a meeting and to hammer those out. Did you have a follow-up, or you wanted to say anything else? And of course, my brother, you can step forward as well if you're prepared to say something.
I will just, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I mean, according to him.
The meeting facilitated a number of community members who expressed various different concerns regarding the project. To this effect, Honorable Penn affirmed that the government would give consideration to those issues that were addressed.
To thank the ministry for moving ahead with this project. I know the concerns have been expressed by the Davis family. I think we need to give consideration and have, as the minister said, discussions in private to sort out the issues outlined, that was outlined by the family. This project has been a project, as we said, that has spanned many decades, spanned many administrations. In fact, the initial contract was signed in late 2011, under the last Virgin Islands Party administration. So I think we are at the point now where we need to move on. We need to come to some type of accommodation to ensure that the community gets the dock installed and reinstalled, and also that the family gets some type of support in terms of what they're trying to do in their personal developments as well. But I want to thank those persons for their contribution. I look forward to working along with all the stakeholders to make sure that this is a reality for us as a community. I think we as a community, and I agree with many of the points that were raised, particularly by Uncle Sam, where he expressed the potential for that area, that shared a similar potential in the past. And I think in the future we could have potential where the families could have economic activity for themselves, and the community could have a level of benefit as well from the development that has taken place there within the Red Bay Dock facility and the community.
As Honorable Penn noted, the project is set to begin today, Thursday, April 28th, and be completed by December of 2022. Well, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Nia Douglas. I'll see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news, right here on 284 Media. Happy Thursday, everybody. Have a great evening.
CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top up or what?